Well, I'd like to welcome back to Rock Pose Roulette, Mr. Terry Ilous. I'll tell you what, it's nice to have you back on the show and give us a chance to catch up with your good self and obviously what Great White are up to.
Thank you.
Well, where can we start? I guess the fact that you've now got the official Great White TV channel on YouTube, which is got some fabulous content on.
Right. It's pretty nice, huh?
It's nice you said that. The fact that you've got a lot of fan footage on there as well.
Yeah, I like that. I think the fans love it as well. It's always nice to see the fans, and it's our way of saying thank you.
The only thing that does slightly irk me is seeing the footage on the Monster Rock cruise, because I'm going next year and you guys aren't playing, and I'm really pissed off.
And well, we did it 3 years in a row, and I totally understand why we're not doing it this year. I mean, 3 years in a row. I think we're the only band with warranty and kicks. Or Tesla warranty and kicks have done it 3 years in a row, and that's about it. So it's all right. We're going to be doing other things. I think we're planning a European tour, and hopefully we're going to be in Europe around May or April of that year. So I'm really looking forward to coming to Europe. I'm originally from Europe, so for me, coming to Europe is like coming back home. I'm really excited about that. I'm very, very excited about that.
Well, of course, the last time I saw you playing Europe, of course, was yourself with obviously XYZ at that Firefest a couple of years ago. But the chance to see Great White again, I mean, I have seen the guys a couple of times, but we're going back a few years now, so obviously I would love to see him with you on vocal duty.
Thank you. Well, thank you very much. It's Great White with me is a lot. I mean, I'm having a blast. I'm thankful, and I don't take it for granted. I respect the songs, the melody. I'm very thankful. I have a great job. Actually, it's not even a job. I always say to people, I said, I'm getting paid to travel, but I play for free.
Well, I mean, you fitted in so well into the band, it has to be said.
We get along fine, and I'm a blues rock singer, so I do have that vibe, and Mark Kendall and I have that thing, so it's perfect.
I mean, Mark is just sounding so much on form, it's untrue.
Yeah. Mark is a great guitar player. He's an old-fashioned style of guitar player.
Yeah.
They don't make like them anymore. He's not into playing too many notes. Mark is into playing the right note, like an Eric Clapton, if you would say. It has to be the right thing. He's not into. I mean, no disrespect to Yngwie, for example, which I adore. He's not like an Yngwie type of guitar player, and we need people like Yngwie, of course. But Mark is more like meat and potato.
He's not
that vibe.
flashy, I would probably say would be a good description.
He's not flashy the way he plays, but however, he's very flashy on stage the way he moves. Believe it or not, he's a great stage performer, and smiles a lot. He's happy to be there. I mean, it really helps.
First time I saw Great White play was at the original Marquee Club, and I was crushed against the stage with actually Mr. Kendall sweating on me profusely.
Wow, he was probably drunk, right?
I mean, that for me is still in my top 10 of probably memorable gigs, it has to be said.
When was that?
Oh, God, I've got to think now. 87.
87. Yeah, they came to. Yeah, that's right. They haven't toured the European market so much. I think they came to Europe 2 or 3 times, and that's about it.
Saw him supporting Alice Cooper, if I remember rightly, at Wembley
Yes.
Arena. And I'm trying to think what year that was. That would be 88, 89, I'm hazarding a guess.
Yeah, it was around the January or February of that year. What's funny? What's funny is most American bands don't want to play Europe. It's really strange, because it's so easy to tour the U.S. We play big venues here. We just did a show last weekend in Santa Cruz, and we did 2 shows,
Right.
one at 6:30, one at 8:30. The first show we had about 4,000 people. Second show we had about 7,000 people. So, and the stages are huge, the lights, the system. So, of course, it's more tempting to play the US because you're being treated like a rock star. But Europe is a different market, and that's why I like playing Europe. Europe, it's much more intimate. Yes, the shows are smaller, but the audience is really faithful and loyal,
Yeah.
especially in the UK. I mean, you guys are absolutely bananas. I mean, you really know all the songs, you know all the lyrics. You really seriously, it's pretty amazing. So I'm looking forward to playing Europe, as I said.
Well, I mean, obviously, the big thing in Europe now, there's an awful lot of big festivals which are attracting more of the American bands back over. I mean, I was at the Frontiers Rock Festival in Milan back in whenever it was May, and I mean, they brought quite a few American bands over. Obviously, there's the logistics and obviously the cost of you guys coming over, because I mean, at the moment, that is just absolutely horrendous. So obviously, that's always going to be a bit of a hindrance.
Yes, but what you can do. I mean, look, put it this way: we have to do them. I mean, it's not like we can not only play the US because it's good as far as money. You can't be doing that. You have fans all over the world, and myself being European, I support the European market. I support playing Spain. Of course, my dad being from Spain, I support playing South America because I speak Spanish. I really want to play all over the world. If there is an audience, then I will be there. That's the way I think. And yes, it's really expensive to play Europe, but you know what? It's okay. You'll make less money, but it's all right.
I mean, one thing you will certainly be aware of, obviously, with your appearances at Firefest, is fans that travelling thousands of miles to see bands. I mean, it's the loyalty of fans, as you say, is absolutely incredible.
Firefest really blew me away. I have to be honest with you. The organization was top notch. I did not expect that. I expected something much smaller.
Right.
And I was pleasantly surprised. The organization was amazing, and the fans were outstanding. I mean, the audience was just, oh my God, I wish I could take that with me and say, this is what I want every night, because it's really amazing to see people from all over the world.
Literally.
Greece, Brazil, Spain, France, England, Germany, I mean, oh my God, Australia. People coming for that particular event. And it's a very small venue. I mean, you 2,000 people, cramped like sardines in one tiny club, And what's amazing is they're singing along. They know the words. They're waiting for that particular song, and you're like, they're not gonna know that one. Yes, they do.
I mean, it really is just one of those. It's obviously, unfortunately, it's the last one this year.
It's the last one. Do you really believe it's gonna be the last one?
Personally speaking, putting my flag up the mast may. It's debatable. Maybe it'll relaunch under a different name. I mean, I can appreciate obviously the work that Kieran puts in and what have you. It's going to take its toll. I mean, after 11 years, the 11th year this year. I mean, it's a hell of a lot to put on. And the fact that these guys, when you think you talk about the fans coming from all over the world, when you got members of the crew coming from all over the world and working for free, it takes its toll. So I don't know. I'm open-minded on it, I think.
And the crew is really good. I was pleasantly surprised as well. The crew is top-notch. Everything is top-notch. The hotel, the food. Kieran is a wonderful guy. He's got great stories. And, we keep in touch. Great White wanted to play there this year, but we had some issues with, I wouldn't call that issues, but some, I can call that issues with management. Therefore, we couldn't do it.
Right.
And it's very unfortunate because I wish Great White would have been able to experience a Firefest. And I told the guys about it. They're like, really? I'm like, no, dude, you got to experience that. It's absolutely amazing. The audience is just fantastic. People are real. They love you. They want to take your picture. They're not hustling you. They're not being rude whatsoever. No. They really nice people said, please, can I have your picture? Sure, let's talk. I had a great time. So, and after the show, we had a great curry, by the way.
Excellent stuff. I mean, the other thing, obviously, maybe you guys could get on one of the H lineups. Obviously, the Hard Rock Hell lineups.
What's that? What is the?
H is Hard Rock Hell. They've had their second HRH AOR festival, which was back in March. Next year, Night Ranger are headlining. They have sort of 2 or 3 different festivals. They have the AOR one. They have another one in like a Halloween one in sort of late October, November, which, if I remember off the top of my head, YNT are headlining this year. So they are bringing a lot of American bands over. House of Lords are one of the bands on the bill this year, which finally I got to see. So maybe that's an angle for you guys to get in and put some pressure on and maybe come in on one of their festivals.
Do you know anybody there?
Yeah, I do, absolutely. Yeah, I'll stick your name in the hat. I've got no problem with that at all, purely on a selfish basis alone.
Well, actually, we don't have a contact. If we had the contact, we would be able to get in touch with them. We are actually changing a lot of things, and most likely we'll be changing. Looking for a European agency this time. So. I think it's going to help a lot,
Well, I'll bounce you the details over.
Night Ranger actually just lost their guitar player,
Yeah, I saw it. They headlined Frontiers Festival, and it's got to be said, they were the best band on the bill by far. I mean, I've said this many times, they were just another level. They were incredible. Yeah. I mean, I don't really understand why Joel is leaving. I mean, obviously he's going to White Snake, which is going to be really interesting. But the fact that you've got Red Beach in White Snake, who's still in Wingers, so I don't really understand why he can't do it. Why he can't be in both bands.
Because he's doing something else. Also, he's doing Rock of Ages.
And of course, he's got. I suppose that also. I guess he's got TSO comes up at Christmas as well.
Yeah,
so maybe
he's got TSO. Yeah, he's got TSO from November to January, and then he's got. Rock of Ages. He's a very busy guy. He's actually blessed that it to be that busy and being able to do so many projects at the same time. Most people can't, So we've done many shows with Night Ranger, and he's a wonderful guitar player.
Yeah.
Oh my God, he's really, really good, and I wish him the best of luck. And also, I'm sure Night Ranger will find somebody as good as well. And Night Ranger is a great band. I mean, love the guys.
Well, luckily, I get to see him again next year, and hopefully, I think he's still going to be playing with them to finish off. Obviously, what dates they've got at the moment. So that will be great to see them again. That was definitely a tick off the bucket list for me. That one. So yeah, if we can get you guys over, I'll tell you that would be absolutely superb. I say that will be long overdue. As is the next thing I'm going to bring up is a new album. It's about time you guys got another album out. I'm waiting here. It's been 2 years. If we don't include the live album.
Yeah, I don't include the live album. Nowadays things have changed. Okay.
Yeah.
And I don't believe in putting out there a new album. I don't believe in that. What I believe in is, I'm really into social media. I'm really into that. I'm really into the internet and everything. I'm very much aware of all that stuff.
Right.
It's not like it's a strange thing. And for me, I believe in putting out a couple of songs. And Mark and I and the rest of the guys will all agree. I mean, it was actually Mark's idea to put 2 or 3 songs at a time out there, and that's about it. But instead of doing that every 2 or 3 years, do that every 3 or 4 months.
Right.
So the fans would be able to have a new single every 3 or 4 months, a new song, versus getting an album once or twice every 10 years. You know what I mean? So that's the point of view that that we all share in the band.
I guess one of the sort of plus sides of doing it that way would be in this digital age that we are, and that the fact that and I'm guilty being a presenter. The stuff that I get sent is that we click through tracks, don't always sit and listen to an album properly like we should. So maybe if we're getting sort of drip-fed tracks, as it were, then we get to appreciate them a bit more than maybe we would do if it was just off an album.
Right, I agree with you. Most of the time, I do the same thing myself. I would get an album from someone, 12 songs, and I'm going to listen to one song, 2 songs, and then I move on to something else.
Yeah.
So I think we all have ADD nowadays, especially as we're getting older.
Yeah.
so I believe that releasing 2 songs at a time, 2 or 3 songs at a time, that's it. I think it's a great thing for the fans, and they're going to be able to get something new, every 2 or 3 months, one single, and I mean that's it. It's great, one song at a time.
And I guess it keeps everything fresh as well. You're not promoting the hell out of an album for probably 2 to 3 years, and keeping people sort of. I would say fans are getting bored. That's not the right phrase, but it's maybe their peak of interest might drop slightly while they're waiting for something else to come out.
Right. Well, in this days of age, we have to, all bands, I mean, we all have to adjust to what's happening right now with the media. I mean, Facebook, Twitter are the new record companies. I mean, let's face it, I mean, whether
for better or for worse, yeah.
I mean, things have changed, and we have to adjust. And if you don't adjust, then you're a dinosaur, and therefore you die. So we have to adjust, putting, using Twitter, using Facebook, even that is not even enough. But putting a lot of money in promotion, I do believe in the fans, I use the fans, I wouldn't say the word use, but I work with the fans a lot, when we put something out there, like we just released a new, I wouldn't call it a single, I call that we released a new a montage of a slideshow, a lot of pictures.
Yeah.
With the song Just for Tonight. Well, I basically send it to a lot of fans of mine, and they do the sharing. They go and share it to all the posts, to all the sites, or blah blah blah. And
yeah, guilty as charged.
But actually, I think it works well. People get involved. People love that, and they don't have to do much. They get to share that with their friends. Say, oh, check this out, the new Great White song. Great. Oh, I love it. No, I hate it. Whatever. It doesn't matter. Please share it. And word of mouth, you're getting interesting promotion. So I believe in that. I mean, of course, you still can use a PR and everything, but I do believe things have changed. Well,
because people, although your website's great, although bands have their websites, you've got to have somebody to keep that up to date for you. And let's face it, it's in a state now where people don't really want to leave Facebook. It's almost like they're scared to leave. They just want to see it all in one place. They don't want to make the effort to go and see all the latest spin and graphics on somebody's website when they can just go on their Facebook page.
It's very true. You need I do believe you need a web page. Okay, it's important so you have your own domain, your own presence.
Yeah.
But Facebook is the new record company. I mean, let's face it, whether we like it or not, because they do things that are not so kosher, and I'm sometimes very disagree with them, But iTunes, all that stuff is just the way to go. I mean, CD Baby, all these things, I don't know if you use that in the UK, but in the US we use CD Baby quite a lot, and the LinkedIn, all these things. This is the way to go nowadays,
It is. I mean, the plus thing, obviously, where you've got fans sharing either the videos or news or what have you, obviously it gets a message out more because, this is one of the problems with Facebook, where maybe people don't realise. I mean, I see it with my own page and what have you, is you might have X thousand likes of your page, but you see a post and you think, like 40 people have seen it, and you think, you're kidding me. And this is like Facebook crushing it down. So if you can get your fans to share it, then you're getting round that problem.
Yeah, well, yeah, but also Facebook is a funny thing. I'll give you a little anecdote. The other day, I posted a thing, a little comment, or I would say, okay, here's a funny picture of so and so. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would get like 20, 30,000 likes, or views, and then I would say, oh, here's a new song, and you get like 2,000 likes, 2,000 views. I think people, Facebook, for some reasons, people don't care about so much about the music as well. So it's like a double sword. You know what I mean? You're like, okay, it's the record company, but at the same time, people don't care at all. It's weird. You would post a naked picture of the Pope, and you would have, no disrespect, of course, you would have 10 million views and likes. But you would post a new song, people would say, yeah, it's a new song. Yeah, okay, I'll listen to it. It's weird.
I suppose you've also got to think, when you post a video and you'll get X number of likes, it's easy just to click like. You don't have to wait to the end of the video to click like. So, I mean, you've got to question how many people actually are watching the video.
Absolutely true. Likes does not always transfer in views. Very, very true. People, oh, I like it. Did you see it? No. Okay. But as far as Facebook goes, they don't care if you really. What they want is likes. The more likes, the more, the better you are with them. It's a strange thing, man. I mean,
I call it Facebook. It's you got to look at it as an alternate reality, I think. And once you look at it like that, then it all makes sense.
Yeah, but fans do want to hear new music. I mean, on tour, we do. Let's say we do 15 songs a night. We would do 3 brand new ones of Elation, and people are excited. We always get notes from fans. Thank you for writing music. Thank you for putting out new music. Thank you. Otherwise you get bored. I mean, how many times can you hear Once Bitten? I mean, it's a great song, of course, but you also want to hear other things as well, you're like, and we make sure that we play songs, obscure songs as well of different albums. So people say, oh, wow, you guys do that stuff, especially from me, because I'm a big fan of the band, and I was a big fan of the band before joining the band.
Right.
So I said, oh, I really love that song. How come you guys never play it? And I remember talking to the guys about that, and they said, you want to sing it? Yes, it's a great song. And they said, all right. And then they started playing it, and like, yeah, it is a great song. I guess, so...
It's always a difficult balance, I guess, for any band to, there are certain favourites you have to play on pain of death. But, it's how many new songs, as you're saying, how many obscure songs do you bring in? I mean, at the end of the day, you're never going to please everybody. So it's getting that balance. I mean, I'm glad I'm not someone who ever has to make that kind of a decision, because I think it would drive me mad.
Let's just say you have to do, Dan, you have to do like the big hits. You have to do them.
Yeah.
People want to hear that, But you have to bring obscure songs, I would say 1 or 2 per show, and then you have to bring 3 brand new ones out of 15 songs. And I think that's enough. You do not want to do just brand new songs. I think it's boring, because people are going to say, I don't know that song. I don't know that song. So you have to have the right balance, to please everyone, to please yourself, please old fans, new fans, women, kids, it's just you have to please everybody, You're in the pleasing business.
One last thing I must bring up with you regarding Elation. Obviously, after you were last on the show, obviously another version of Elation came out, which obviously you kindly sent over to me, which of course is the remastered version.
Right.
Tell me the reasoning behind that.
The reason is we were not... we had 30 days or 31 days, I believe, to write, record, produce, master an album completely from scratch. I mean, we were and having the pressure of management, record companies, and the fans thinking, wait a minute, they have a new singer. So the pressure was tremendous on us. We had 31 days to do all that. We did okay, I think, and then poor Michael Lordy was actually mixing 4 songs per day. That's a lot. He was like, oh my God, I got 4 songs to mix today. I don't know if I can do it, We had a deadline, and we listened to the tracks a little bit after, and I said, oh my God, this one doesn't, I can't hear the guitar here, I can't hear the drums here. I mean, it wasn't his fault. I mean, he was just under the gun.
Yeah.
So we decided to have an old friend of mine, George Tutko, remix the entire album, and everybody loved it. You know, I mean, I like the first mixes, but I do love the new mixes way better.
I've got to say, I'll follow you on that. It's how can I say? There's more depth to the album, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I've known George since George is the one that actually discovered me back in 1987 when I came to the US. George at the time was working with Rod Stewart, and John Cougar. And George was the back then he was it. He was a really well-known engineer, mixer, and he was a friend of a friend. And I first met him and we became friends right away. I mean, him and because I do martial arts and he does martial arts. They were beside the music world. There was something else. You know,
Right.
He told me, "Hey, do you want to practice with me?" I said, "Sure, I'd love to practice. What's your style?" So we learned from each other and we became really good friends. And he said, "I can help you get a record deal," and blah blah blah. And he did. George Tutko is a really close friend of mine, and he's battling cancer at the moment. I have raised a lot of money for him, and I hope he's gonna win the fight. So he's a really strong mixer. He has worked with Kiss, Ozzy, Littleford, Duran Duran, Journey, Queen. I mean, he's a really well-known person, and he's having a hard time right now. So I hope he's gonna fight, and I hope he's gonna win the battle.
I hope so too, because I mean, I only know from personal experience, family-wise, the effects of cancer, and it's just one of those things which, unfortunately, we still haven't quite beaten yet.
Well, it's a sad thing. Now, I do believe there's a way to beat cancer. I'm not going to get into it right now because it's going to be too political. But I do believe that there is a way, some kind of way. I do believe that researchers, they know how to beat that. They do know, but the pharmaceutical companies don't want that. They say, no way, we're making so much money right now off those poor people. I mean, it's a sad thing, but it's not be political here, but this is what I think.
Well, Terry, I'll tell you, it's been, as always, an absolute pleasure having you on the show. I'll drop you some details over regarding people over here regarding H2H, and let's see if by hook or by crook we can get you guys over here sooner rather than later. As I said earlier, if for nothing else but purely for a selfish point of view. So
I'll buy you a beer.
I will hold you to that. You know that as well.
Now, where do you live exactly?
I'm just south of London, so yeah, not too bad a position. It's not too far from London, but these days it's harder for me to get the gigs. It has to be said. It's getting to London's not the problem. It's getting back out that's the pain. But
why? Why? Because of the transportation, or?
Yeah, I mean, driving into London now is just that's a big no. That's I mean, I lived in London for years, but it's driving there now is just, well, apart from the fact having to pay the congestion charge, which I don't know what it is.
London is a beautiful. It's one of my favorite cities in the world. It's really expensive to live in London nowadays, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's always been fairly expensive. I mean, I've got to be smug that I lived in London at probably the greatest period of time for rock music, certainly from my point of view, which of course was mid to late 80s and early 90s. So, I mean, I'm old enough and smug enough to say I saw most bands the first time round. So, and saw all the great venues which unfortunately are now gone, like the Marquee, as I mentioned. That's of course gone. As a Story is gone. I could go on. The list is just horrendous. But
I played this tour with XYZ.
Yeah,
we played there. Yeah, it was a great place. And there was a club. I think it was the Marquee.
Yeah, the Marquee Club. Well, there was the original Marquee Club on Wardour Street, and then you had, when that closed, they moved it to what was, believe it or not, a sex cinema on Charing Cross Road, which was down from the Astoria.
Wow. Okay.
And Kiss actually were the first band to play the new Marquee, to open it, which is a bit of a coup for them. Not that anybody could get a ticket for love nor money, mind.
Is it a big venue?
It's long gone now. It's now
Oh,
unfortunately a Weatherspoons pub, so it is absolutely soulless and lifeless. Unfortunately, it's a sad state of affairs seeing it like that. But I say so many venues have gone now in London. It's there are still
it's the
some good
same here.
venues,
I
but
mean, it's the same. It's the same here. Recently, we had a club. I don't know if you've been to Los Angeles. We had a club. There was a fantastic club called Gazaris that actually
on the
became the
strip.
Key Club. And the Key Club now is no longer. Now the Key Club is a rap kind of bar. And I'm like, really? I mean, it used to be like a cool place to play. I mean, Van Halen used to play there. Great White used to play there all the time. We didn't play there much with XYZ. We were the whiskey kind of band. We
Right.
had to play the whiskey all the time. We were the last band to be nominated to be a house band at the whiskey. We had to play the whiskey twice a month. That was
Right.
the contract. So we never played Gazaris. Was not. We could, of course, but we didn't want to. Poison used to play Gazaris all the time. We didn't. We played the whiskey.
Of course, that club is on the decline of Western civilization Part Two.
Yeah.
That's there's a whole section about Gazaris on there.
Yeah, I mean, the Godfather, the way we used to call him, was a funny guy. I mean, he used to be like, he used to look like a
Like a
gangster.
gangster.
You
Yeah,
know what I
yeah.
mean? And the funny thing about him, he used to have all the young girls around him all the time. They were like crazy about him. Because he had that persona of being some kind of a gangster, but he was not a gangster. He was a really nice guy. He was a true. Bill Gazaris was a great guy. And all the many girls back in the 80s. You would see him walking around with those 80s girls, cute as hell and wearing tiny little mini skirts,
And huge hair.
and
Yeah.
oh my God, back in the days, girls were, I mean, and then Nirvana came along and all the girls became ugly.
I'm glad you said that.
It's the truth,
Yeah,
boy.
and all started wearing tartan shirts, and it was a time of doom. Yes, it has to be said. Yes.
Yeah, I mean, in the 80s, they were cute, they were beautiful, lots of makeup and mini skirts and high heels and everything. And then the 90s came around, and they started looking horrible. I was like, really? Those combat boots and everything. I was like, oh, girl, really? Oh, whatever.
Well, Terry, I say it's been an absolute treat. I say hopefully I will get to see you maybe next year, and I will certainly ensure that you buy me a beer.
How about you 2 beers? All right, mate. You take care of yourself, and please put me in touch, or put us in touch with the
The people at
organization.
HRH. I
Yes.
certainly will indeed. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
great. Take care of yourself. Bye-bye.